Ozark Mountain streams are beautiful, and they're beautiful because they're clear, they're clean. People come from all over the world to fish, to float. Lots of people swim in these streams. And when we get sediment into our stream system, it can clog up some of these gravel beds that are home to the small bugs, the small fish that the larger fish eat. When you start choking out all those nooks and crannies, you're losing habitat for what everything needs to survive. So if you can cut down on the sediment and keep these streams clear and clean, you're going to have better fish. It'll continue to be beautiful.
The Nature Conservancy, our rivers programs, and a lot of other people around the country and around the world have identified unpaved roads as a significant sediment source. So that development activity, combined with rainfall, can put a lot of sediment into our rivers, and the sediment is a problem for habitat and for the species that we're working to protect. So not every unpaved road is a problem for our rivers, but when you have, say, a steep road that's down cutting and it's not drained well from stormwater, the velocity and momentum of that water can build up and cause scouring and put sediment into the rivers. And so what we're doing, the first phase of what we do is a road inventory, where we go out in vehicles and trucks. And those trucks are equipped with advanced GPS systems and computers, and so we can drive roads and document their conditions and those characteristics of how much cutting and eroding they're doing, how proximate they are to the streams. We also document stream crossings and look at how much sediment is being input at those crossings. Are those crossings and bridges an impediment to fish and other aquatics traveling up or down the stream? We also map any type of feature that relates to controlling water on the road surface, the ditches, the outlets, the culverts, and all that. So this is a Trimble field GPS unit that we can walk in the field and collect data, but in this case we use it just as an antenna. It's got an external antenna on the roof of the truck, and then it's hooked up to the computer where we're running the mapping software. So we have both a map of our position and the features that we're mapping, and we also have, so like on this side, we've got a menu of features that we can choose from. So like on the road segment, we've got all the different attributes of the road that we talked about, the prism and the rill erosion and the ditch characteristics, and we can go in there and change those with a menu that we've set up custom for this type of work. And it's just a drop-down menu, touchscreen computer, and it works real well.
Trying to collect on this is a nightmare. Yeah, my hands like going all over the place.
So on this road you can see that the road actually sits lower than both its banks, and so the water's kind of trapped in the road profile until you get to a point where you have a wing ditch or other feature that cuts through that bank and lets the water out. In this case, the water's outletting right at this wing ditch right here. All right, so as the water comes down through the road and it gets to this point, the wing ditch turns the water out and right through here and right down into the creek. There's no forest cover or no soil for that erosion and the storm runoff to settle out and just disperse in a forest floor, which is sort of the optimal situation. So one of the characteristics that we describe when we map a stream crossing is identifying if ditches from the road outlet themselves into the streams. And in this case, you can look across the road and you can see that the ditch right here drains right into the stream. So there's, again, no dispersion of that storm runoff into a stable area. It just runs right down and into the road, and you can see a buildup of sediment right on here. And the crossing we looked at yesterday was right here, and so we drove in coming along, there's a ridge here, we drove in coming along here, and it was real bad, that last section right there. That was one that we had talked about where some work could be done to, since it's so close to the stream and so steep. We're on the middle fork of the Little Red River, just upstream of a crossing at Lidalisk. And just downstream of that crossing is a known riffle where the yellow-cheeked darter occurs, and scientists sometimes collect the yellow-cheeked darter there. The darter is a small fish. It's a riffle obligate, which means it only is found on fast-flowing portions of the stream, not in pools, and it has a high oxygen requirement, so it needs that fresh, fast-moving water. So the crossing there is a concrete slab crossing that we've inventoried in our road inventory and identified that it is a significant barrier to the yellow-cheeked darter and other aquatic species migrating upstream to other known populations upstream. And so that's a priority for us in terms of restoring connectivity of habitat between different populations of this species. Yeah, so once we collect that information, we bring it back to the GIS lab and analyze it and determine what priority road segments are. A phase that we're really ramping up on right now is engaging with counties and other land managers to show them the results of our study, talk to them about priority segments, and to find ways to improve those roads for their water drainage and reduce the sediment that's going into the river. So we just held a workshop, an alternative maintenance practices workshop. This was our third workshop in the past 4 years. There is a lot of knowledge about how to maintain roads, to manage water, to reduce sediment, and to reduce maintenance costs. And so, in that knowledge, a lot of it comes from the U.S. Forest Service, who maintains probably more roads than anybody else in the world. We actually brought trainers down from the state of Pennsylvania, where there is a unpaved roads program statewide. They've been doing these trainings for about 12 years, but anyway, we wanted to start providing that information to road managers about these alternative maintenance practices. This is actually reduce the amount of maintenance. They reduce the amount of gravel you need to put on your road because it's not washing away as fast. They reduce the frequency at which the roads need to be graded, and this is proven to save money over time. We did our first workshop with them down here in Russellville, and we had a real good turnout. We had about 60 people at the beginning of the workshop, and we had 40 people out in the field on the third day. And it was a combination of in-class sort of lecture type information and discussion, and then a day looking at a demonstration project that we did with Johnson County and the U.S. Forest Service, a pipe installation, and we also demonstrated some alternative grading tools and techniques.